Alright, so if we want to graph a logarithmic function using transformations, then we really need to go off of what the parent function looks like. So let's say that we have f of x equals log base 3 of x plus 2 minus 1. So the parent function, log base 3, our vertical asymptote is at x equals 0. And we cross through the point 1, 0. So we have something like that, right there. There's the parent function of log base 3. So using the transformations we have here, and this point 1, 0, we can get a rough sketch of what the graph looks like. So the transformations inside my function tell me to, I have a plus 2 with x, so remember horizontal transformations do the opposite, so this tells me to go left 2, or to take 2 away from the x values, and the plus 1 on the the minus 1 on the outside of the function. This is vertical. Vertical does what it says, so this is telling me to go down 1, or to take 1 away from the y values. So if I start with that 1, 0 from the parent function and use my transformations to transform this point, I'll at least have 1 point on the graph. So I'm going to take 2 away from the x values, so I'm going to subtract 2 from the x values, and 1 away from the y values. So I'm going to subtract 1 from the y value. So 1 minus 2 gives me negative 1, and 0 minus 1 gives me negative 1. So this is a point on the graph. We're also going to use the vertical asymptote. So my vertical asymptote for the parent function is 0, but I'm scooting my graph back left 2. So instead of it being at 0, it'll be at 1, 2, negative 2. So I have a point on the graph. I know my vertical asymptote is at x equals negative 2, and I don't have any reflections or anything like that, so we can go ahead and sketch our graph. Boop, boop. I know my vertical asymptote is at x equals negative 2. I have a point at negative 1, negative 1. And it should still take on the same shape as the parent function, because again, we didn't reflect it over any of the axes. So I'm going to get, again, a rough sketch. Something like that. And there's my graph of log base 3 of x plus 2 minus 1. We already identified the vertical asymptote, but from that we can say, okay, the domain then, the furthest left that it goes is negative 2 with a parenthesis, because we don't ever actually touch negative 2, and then it's going to carry on all the way to infinity. And the range for all of the logarithmic functions stays negative infinity to positive infinity. There we go. There's my logarithmic function with transformations.